Oh, yeah, yeah.
है ना?
So, like, if we can do the question right now.
Yeah. So, how to improve our creativity?
Okay,
Mystic Maverick has asked.
okay, Mystic Maverick. Okay, so your question was how to improve your creativity. So, I, that's the first time I've been asked that question. But then, yeah, I don't think there's a defined way to that, and you just need to find your inspiration. You just need to look for it, and like it can be just trying to figure out your favorite artist style, or something that you have watched, like something that intrigues you, like the space or Star Wars, or the comic characters. So you need to develop it. It kind of develops over time, so there's no like shortcut to it. And yeah, once you start, so suppose you get an idea and you start like working on it, and eventually you get to it and you finish your art, or like finish a piece, and you're very so now you know that like you have done something new, and like you were able to you know get it done. That's all. So like what, something that you thought about, you got it on the paper. So basically that's how you it's kind of process, and you just need to keep going at it, and you don't need to limit yourself to a certain area, or like I'm just gonna do this or that, because different experiences kind of trigger your imagination, and that kind of helps with the creativity, and trying to improve your art, make something more original instead of like picking it up from somewhere. So I think that's my answer to your question. uh,
Okay. Another is, can we use any other colors instead of acrylic color?
okay, so so for this kind of art, why I suggested acrylic paints is, the first thing is that indoors, and these are kind of plastic paints, so they kind of shine under the light, and they really pop out. Okay, if you use them properly, so that's why I suggested that. But compared to the acrylic inside, and apart from that, you can use spray cans or different mediums. And the colors, yeah, it's just acrylic paints, or these or the distemper, or the emulsions. But apart from that, you can always use oil paint, but that would just like, you need to be that skillful to get the work done. So yes.
Which colors are best for wall painting? I think similar question.
Yeah, similar questions. So you can skip that. So,
People are asking if you could tell the shade names that you've used.
oh, okay. Yes. I'll put out the list of the shades that I've used. Like, just give them out at the end of the session, when I'm just done with the outlining, so I can just, okay, if that works out. Open that. Uh,
Then what will you? Geeta Sanginis is asking, what varnish you'll apply to protect the colors.
okay. So when you're on the streets, you don't really end up doing that, and basically more of that, like the varnish, you try to like you kind of put it on your canvases and stuff, so that you because so that you can preserve your art. But on the wall, I don't think you really end up using varnish, because yeah, I haven't used it till now. Till like I have done a few commercials here and there for the past years, and I think I haven't kind of used it, and I don't think you really need varnish, because if just suppose if there's a big wall, a very huge wall. You can't, like, after you finish your art, you can't go around varnishing it. So you, to like, make up for that, you use colors that kind of last for a couple of years or more. Okay, and yes, but under extreme conditions, weather conditions, the paints kind of come off more quickly, but they generally take 2 to 3 years to like start peeling off, something like that. So yeah, I don't really think you need varnish for wall art.
Do's and don'ts for painting on a wall.
Do's and don't. Okay. So there are things that I can share some of my personal experience here. Like, so the first thing is like when you go and you start, just so apparently when I started, I would just go and you know draw a rough sketch and just start painting. So that's one of the things that you shouldn't do, because when you start painting, the there's like you need to kind of clean the surface or the area of the wall before you start working on it. If it's like the rugged walls, you got to sandpaper it down a bit, you know, remove the paint that's kind of peeling off, because later while working on your art, like if something just falls off, yeah, it would be pretty tough to deal with. Apart from that, the colors, like you need to be very sorted out with your colors, like what you're gonna use for your art, because like sometimes it kind of works out, but then if you don't, if you just wing it and you do it on a whim, but then if you plan it, if you plan, wall art is mostly about planning and how you gonna like everything from the sketch to how you execute it on the wall. So you just gotta plan well. That's what I think. And yes, I think that's it. Apart from
Which type of walls are suitable for painting? My wall is tuna based. Um, Yanzi Z is asking that. So it basically is tuna based wall okay to
yeah,
paint with these colors.
so basically you can like paint on those also. So like there's nothing like that you can't paint on tuna or something like that. So what you need to do is like get the wall cleaned off, एकदम अच्छे से साफ करके you need to like put one coat, or like to be on the safe side, a double coating of white paint, so that there's a thick white paint on it, thick layer, thick base paint, so that when you color, like things don't fall off, and they kind of stay there for a while. So yeah, I think you should try that and let me know if it works.
So they're asking if this wall
Hmm.
is directly being painted upon, or has it been primed, or does it have a base coat on?
Okay, so yeah, so this wall, I just cleaned it because I was doing a very small piece, and I was just doing it for you guys. So yeah, so like we were on a time crunch, so I didn't really get time to end up like whitewashing the wall. But then yeah, you should definitely do it. And this is just a clean wall. Like I kind of cleaned it before I started the sketch on it, and before I painted it. So yeah.
Uh, can gesso or gesso be used as top coat?
Mm, so yeah, I have no idea what gesso is like really. So
So anyway,
I can get back to you if you want.
any way to seal the colors on the wall? Like, is that even necessary?
Seal the colors.
Yeah, on the wall.
Okay,
Same
like
person is asking.
okay, just to keep them on.
Top
So,
coat, yeah, seal.
oh,
Something to
okay.
finish it with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could use top coat, but then yeah, like if it's indoor, I don't think the paint generally don't peel off, because outdoor, why it peels off outdoors is because it's under extreme conditions, the dust and everything. But when it's inside and you are using acrylic paints also, you can just use a wet cloth and you can just give it a wipe and it will be intact for like, yeah, till I think you change your house. So yeah. or decide to paint over it. So you don't really need it, but you can always go for it.
Someone's asking about watercolors also, like if they can use watercolors.
No, so watercolors are a bit no, because they are water based, and they are like when you do it on the paper, they are itself very translucent. Like you need, even if you put a lot of more than one coat, like 3 4 coats also, they don't really give you this finished effect. Like they are not this opaque. So, and that's when you're doing it on a paper. So when you increase this increase your canvas, the size of the canvas, obviously, like it won't work out. It will be more patchy and translucent. So I would suggest you go with something like this and not go for watercolors.
How to clean brushes after using enamel paints?
Uh, Enamel paints. Okay, so you get this solutions at the shops, like the ones that you use to mix. Sorry, the ones that you use to mix the paints also. So you get a different solution for it at the shop, which you can definitely get, because you can't brush the sorry you can't wash the brushes with water. So those are like oil-based solutions to take off the paint, but you need to keep them dipped in those solutions for a long time. Okay, and yes, and definitely don't use water to clean them, because oil and water don't really go well together, so it kind of ruins the brush.
Which number brushes are you using?
So I'm using a variety of brushes, like from the biggest size to the this small. So I think it totally depends on what you are comfortable with. So because like I can't use a small brush to cover up big spaces. Like that's common sense. So like you need to figure out which brush you will be needing and when. So yeah.
Please tell how to become a graffiti artist.
So, okay. So this question. Okay. So graffiti is not all about cans, and we all started with brushes and acrylic paints, even on the walls, and distempers and rollers. So what you need to do is just start practicing your letters. Basically, the letters, you don't have to make them all fancy and very hard to read. It should be like the main objective of graffiti is to get your name up, so it should be readable, of course, because obviously so I can suggest you some videos which you can watch on YouTube, and at least get to know the basic of lettering. So you know how you want to. So मतलब कुछ वीडियोस हैं यूट्यूब पे जो आप देख के मतलब आपके बेसिक सही कर लेंगे, तो उससे क्या होता है कि लेटर्स के जो स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं ना, हम जब भी ग्राफिटी सुनते हैं तो हम स्ट्रक्चर्स को मतलब हमारे मन में आइडिया आता है कि हम ऐसे करेंगे इसको फैंसी बनाएंगे, बट दैट्स टोटली रॉन्ग. लाइक आई यूज टू डू दैट. इट वो एकदम स्टेप वाइज प्रोसेस है वेयर थोड़े चेंजेस करते हैं आप लेटर्स को, and then you follow a pattern throughout your word or name, whatever you are doing. Okay, so yeah, you need to work on the letters. So and you can आप जॉन ग्रिम करके आर्टिस्ट है, एंड राइटर्स बेंच करके इज पेज on YouTube. So आप वो check out करिए. Like he has the basics given out and he explains it very nicely. So at least you will have a idea of what actually it is. Okay. So yeah.
Can we buy individual Fevicryl shades or do they come in a pack?
So you can buy them individually also, and उनके पैकेट्स भी आते हैं. पैकेट्स में मतलब जैसा होता है कि obviously जैसे सारे पोस्टर पेंट्स और ये सब आता है कि हर हर कलर का एक एक शेड but then individually also वो आपको बेचते हैं, and yeah, you'll get that.
Someone's asking, Megha Seth, is it doodle art? What you're doing, is that doodle art?
Okay, so it's just a doodle, and yeah, it is. So basically, like, none of this is. So it's just a scribble that I ended up doing, and eventually, any doodle is just a scribble. So yeah, totally, this is doodle art, and it differs from person to person. You could make something as like, I don't think to make two doodles same. Like, I don't think that's possible. Maybe similar, yeah, but we all think differently, and we all have a different mindset. So obviously, our scribbles would be different.
Okay, the oil that you mentioned earlier for cleaning,
Yeah.
is that tarpan oil or kerosene oil?
It's Tarpon.
Tarpan oil.
Okay.
Any tips for beginners in acrylic on canvas?
Uh, okay, so I'm a self-taught artist. So like there are a lot of things that I actually don't know. But then, yeah, the basic things are like you just try it out as much as you can, and it's just practice, and you will learn it on the go. So I don't really have any like specific tip for you. Instead of just keep practicing, and yeah, you'll get around, and you will find your way.
Okay, Shiv Gaur is asking, how can we protect our drawings from color mixing?
Color mixing, I think so. The best option is you start with the lightest shade and then you go to the darkest, because if by chance, so I ended up using black at the end, because if I so these are light colors, right? If I put black somewhere, so it would be really tough for me to take it out. So I would suggest you go, like when you're painting something, you go in like that order, light to darkest. So even if you make a mistake, you can figure out a way to cover it. Yeah.
Okay, another question. I think it's kind of similar to what you answered before. After finishing the painting, how to protect?
Okay, I just answered that.
Yeah, so, I mean, so maybe you can just mention that these fairy colors don't really
Oh yeah.
need anything else, no?
So yeah, you should definitely, like, if you're indoors, I would suggest acrylic paints. Like, that's what like I figured out that this is the best option. The fairy paints, acrylic paints that you get. On like if it's outside, I think it just takes time, and your art will wear out. Like, you can't really preserve them forever on a wall. So yeah,
People are asking you to repeat the name of that artist, John.
okay.
John Grimm, right?
Yeah, it's John Grimm, and he has a page called Writer's Bench.
How long this color would last on walls?
Uh, if it's indoors, until and unless you decide to take it down, and if it's outdoors, maybe like a couple of years at max and under favorable conditions. But like if these are like if there's like extreme conditions, they will come up pretty quickly.
What can we use to dilute colors?
If it's acrylic, I would say water, obviously, and if if it's oil based, if it's enamel or something like that, I think you should go with the oil that you get without the oil.
So one question, like, what would you suggest the artist like who's gonna start the wall paintings and all?
Uh, I would say like I think you should just go and get started ASAP, because the more you think about it, you will figure out like there are a lot of problems until and unless you go there on the ground, like like you would like because once you have started, you wouldn't quit. So I would just say like, and if any problem comes up, you will definitely try to, and you will end up finding a way to tackle it by hook or by crook. So I would just say, okay, like should go and get started ASAP, and don't think about it. Like like everyone makes mistakes, and you just figure it out. It's easy.
Okay, someone's asking what is difference between acrylic and fabric colors because fabric colors are diluted with a medium.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really use fabric colors, so I don't have much idea about it. But then, as far as acrylic paints, yeah, that's what I use mainly, or spray paint. So those are the mediums that I really work with. So I'm really sorry about that. But then for the acrylic base, yeah, it's water.
Is it good to start with canvas or just papers?
Yeah, you can definitely start on like papers. Like you have already, if you're asking me this question, you're already working on paper. So I think you should go ahead and try out canvas too. Like it's a totally different experience, and the end product is also pretty good. So you should definitely go and check it out and
Um,
try it out.
if there's any mistake in artwork, how can we correct it?
Okay, so on the wall, if you're asking me, one second. It seems like now I've made a mistake here. If you're still there, so I was supposed to get a thin line, but I didn't. So basically, now I'm just gonna use the darker color that I have, and cover it out or like cut कर दूंगा उसको.
So for Supriya Naika is asking for outdoor painting, we can use this acrylic paint or we have to use the emulsion effects.
Yeah, so for outdoors, I think it's better to use Apex and distempers and stainers because you would be covering more space. And if you're just starting out and to paint with acrylic paints on big surfaces, like it will just cost you a bit comparatively, and it will take time. That's it, because the biggest bottle also and it will require more paint because these paints are thicker comparatively. So I would suggest distemper or emulsions and stainers. That's the best way to go. And like you can definitely use acrylic paints for the details.
Uh, so people are asked a couple of questions about pricing for mural works. How does that work?
Oh, okay, so till recently, I would always have a problem with that. But then, so I figured out how it's done. So basically, most of us charge on per square feet basis, like depending on the artwork size, and if it's and also the the design. If it's very simple, something like this, I wouldn't charge compared to some a portrait if I'm doing a portrait on the wall. So yes, it differs, but then these are some of the factors that you can think about before charging someone. So yes, and like basically graffiti writers who use cans as a medium and something like that. So they kind of charge from 300 to 500 per square feet depending on their experience and the type of work they can provide. But apart from that, other artists who use brushes and rollers and stuff like that, no spray can stuff. So they go from 100 to 200 per square feet because the paints included. So
So people are asking these fabric paints also that you're using
hmm.
along with acrylic. So fabric also can be diluted with water. and you can use fabric paints also for walls, right?
Yeah, so it's so basically why I'm using it like because I kind of so yeah, you can use it, it will work, but I would suggest don't do that and stick with acrylic and not fabric paints. Okay, because fabric obviously works better on clothes and stuff because on walls it gives you a very patchy effect. Like you can see, like I've used a couple of them. Like one is this and one is this. So I would just suggest that you don't do that and you stick with acrylic.
Okay, there's a question about if you could talk a little bit about how to get your sketches onto the walls, like you using grids and stuff that you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So if someone's not that great with free hand, how do they get it on the wall?
Okay. So for the grids, there are like a couple of them. Obviously, the first one is the normal grid that we use, जो lines के साथ होता है. So obviously you can do it, you can use it, and then you superimpose कोई भी एक editor app use करके अपना artwork you get it on the wall, and reduce the opacity, and like you will at least have an idea कि इस line से इस line तक कितना part आना चाहिए, तो you get a better sense of it and you will end up doing it. And apart from that, the second option is Doodle Grid, which so you can use doodle grids, which are just random letters, numbers that you put up, and it's just it follows the same principle, and you just superimpose your photo, like your artwork, on the wall, and now you know from which point to which point what you need to make. So it's very easy, and it works always.
You're asking which app you mentioned just now for
Also, I
superimposing.
oh, okay. Uh, I use this app called Polish, and I think that's just I use it for just this and nothing else. But yeah, like any photo editor app works because they all have this option.
How to trace if you want.
Oh, okay. If it's a small artwork, no, I don't think you can. Small artwork, maybe of A4 size artwork. I think you can dry out the carbon paper or something like that. But then, apart from that, you can't really go and trace your art. Or you can definitely use a projector. That's a good way to do it. You can work at night time, project your art over there, and you can without making the grids. It will save time. It will definitely save time. So you can just go ahead and uh, you know yeah, sketch. Start like you just sketch it out, and after that you remove the projector, and you know where which colors are going to be. You can just color it then.
Can we use Geru to trace it?
Uh, Sorry, I have no idea what Gero is.
That red thing you paint the flower pots with, no? That red color,
Oh,
चूना and Geru.
अच्छा अच्छा okay.
Brick का या किसका रहता है ना?
अच्छा okay. So you could use it, but then thing is like it totally depends on the size of your artwork. Like if it's a bigger artwork, I don't think you will get. get a glue that big to place it on the wall. So I would rather suggest you use a projector or a grid. That would be way more convenient.
Some mural artists use X and O as grid, and some use numbers too. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so that's the doodle grid that I'm talking about. So it's basically you can write anything, make hearts and this and that, make anything. The main purpose is that you need to know from point A to point B which part of your artwork is going to be there. So like if I make an X and an O, तो उसके बीच में मेरा कितना part रहेगा artwork का, so I need to figure that out, and this like all of this follow the same principle. So it's basically a doodle grid. People use it X and zeros because when you start painting or when you superimpose the photo, उस पर ज़्यादा चीज़ें नहीं होती है, तो आपको अपना आर्ट भी क्लियरली दिखता है, एंड यू नो लाइक कि कहाँ से कहाँ तक जाना है. बट अगर यू गो अ बिट टू क्रेजी विद द ग्रिड, लाइक ये बना रहे हो वो बना रहे हो, so sometimes it happens कि थोड़ा confusion हो जाता है, तो just avoid the confusion. They use the simplest thing that comes to the mind, and that's X and zeros. So yeah,
Okay,
So Supriya again is asking, what about the oil paint on the wall?
yeah, if you're skilled enough, give it a try. But then it will be like very painful to do it because it will consume a lot of time, and you know yeah, I've seen walls that have been done using oil paint, but I've never actually tried one. So yeah, like as far as a small scale experience, I've tried it on few small canvases, and it was really tough for me at least. So if you have the skills, go ahead, try it out, and until and unless you don't try it, you won't know. So give it a try and let me know.
someone's asking, what about poster paints?
Oh, they won't work. Poster paints won't work definitely because yeah, once again they are like not very opaque, and they will give you a patchy effect after a while. So, but if you're doing a small artwork on the wall, like this big or a bit smaller, and you have the time to like go ahead and put a few quotes for each, I think you should give it a try. Like if you if it's that like if it's readily available, and yeah, you should just give it a try. But I would suggest you go with acrylic paint because they just give a better effect than the rest.
Okay, someone's asking, what are your favorite subjects for mural paintings or street art?
Okay, so for street art, I'm a conceptual based artist. Like I like to make things which are like which say something, which are more concept based art, where okay, yeah, that's what I like. I'm not much into portraits and stuff. I like to tell a story. I like to tell stories with my artwork. So yeah, these are things which I don't generally do much. But then yeah, we'll try out everything. So
And for how long have you been painting on walls?
painting on walls. So I never really got around to learn from somewhere. So I started on my own. So it's been like 3.5 years since I've got into this, and Yeah, just I met. I think I just met the right people, and they kind of guided me, and I'm still here, still doing it. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna stop anytime soon. So,
What is the difference between poster and acrylic paints?
uh, that's okay. How do I explain this to you? Postal. Acrylic paints are like they give you a more shiny look. You can see under the light. But poster paints are a bit dull. Like I guess I think that's the only thing that comes to my mind right now. Like
What do you use to waterproof your work on the walls?
oh nothing. You can't really waterproof your work because the water paints all. So the emulsions and distempers that you use, those are like already paints which are being used outside, like which are being used to paint the walls of buildings and stuff. So those are the paints that I use, and they kind of last for a long time, maybe 2 to 3 years. So I think you don't like if it's indoors, I would suggest this because even if I throw water on it, I can just wipe it off. Oh, not this part. Sure. Okay, so I'll
Put right.
yeah, that's what I will do. I'll figure that out. But yeah, wait, I'll show that to you. If I like put water here, yeah, that didn't work out well.
That was okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I can just wipe it off. So it's very easy to get it off. I just put the water on the wall,
Wall.
yeah, directly and kind of backfire. You didn't see that coming.
For beginners, is it good to start with poster paints or acrylic?
Uh, I would say if you're doing it on a paper or on a book, I would suggest like you could go with posters and then gradually transition to acrylic paints. But then on the wall, I would just suggest you go with acrylic paints. I think I've repeated myself quite a bit now.
And the black borders are also made of acrylics,
Yeah,
right?
all of them. This too.
How long does this stay?
With indoors, it will stay like till you take it off. With outdoors, something between 1.5 years to 3 years.
Uh, could you? Can we use marker pens for outlining?
Yes, definitely you could use alcohol-based markers or like Posca markers or Molotov markers or something like that, and they will definitely work. And they're pretty convenient to work if you don't like to work with brushes.
Can we use Posca acrylic markers?
Yes, you can use and they work pretty good on the walls too. So definitely you could try that. Okay. If you have more lights, then I think then you can.
Okay, someone's asking, what's your age?
Oh, okay. I'm 24. Sorry, I'm lying. I'm 23.
Okay, can we use acrylic white gel pens on walls?
You could try. The acrylic markers do work, but the gel pens, no, I don't think so. They will work that nicely, and it would be a visibility problem. But I think acrylic markers would work way better, or alcohol-based markers. You can definitely try those.
If we keep cleaning the wall, does the texture of the paint go away?
No. So it totally depends how you do it. So over here, like you just wet the cloth slightly and not too much. You can just wipe it and like not go and rub it. So yeah, I think the texture would remain the same. Yeah, if you try to scrub it out.
Can you make
That won't
it, can you make it last longer than 3 years?
Uh, if it's outdoors, yeah, we could try. We could just like every once in a while we could come up and give it a retouch and like a touch up, something like that, and it will just stay. It's just that like once you're done with that wall and you go and then you come back after a couple of years, I don't think you would end up doing the same piece or trying to fill the colors in the same piece. You would definitely want to make something new. So yes, but if you want to do that, I think doing a touch up after a few few months or like 1.5 years, you can definitely go ahead and try that.
At
That will work.
at what age did you start with focusing on your art?
So I'm a computer application graduate and midway through I realized I don't want to do this anymore, and I just for some reason I tried something on a wall, and then I just kept on getting some ideas that I would try to get on walls, and after a while, after a couple of pieces that didn't really work out, but obviously I loved it because it was mine. So yeah, it just helps. So I would suggest go ahead and try it out, and definitely then you will just keep on figuring out new things. And I think 3 years down the line, I'm at a very different place from where I started. So I would suggest you give it a try. That's the best thing you can do.
Someone's asking, do these paints take time to dry?
Oh no, acrylic paints dry way too quick. comparatively to like to if you're comparing it to distemper or stainers or emulsions. Yes, they do dry out very quickly. I think I said that when I started painting.
Could you please suggest ways to find inspiration?
Well, you can. I think instead of watching reels on Instagram, you can stalk artists, and like because there are tons of artists, and it's just that you don't follow them. Like you don't follow many of them. That's why you don't know. So I would suggest you go there and explore, and because there are a lot of things that you could use on this, like on the social media for your personal, uh, personal improvement, I would say. Just go and follow some good artists, and then you will get more recommendations, and you will just see like there's a plethora of artists out there, and they all have different styles. So I think that yeah, you should try that out.
Is Pinterest a good place to find inspiration?
Oh, that's I don't know if it's inspiration. I think it's more of like if you want to make something and you can't figure out how to do it, you go to Pinterest and you get an idea, and then you start like developing over it, or you take parts from that artwork which is already present there. I would suggest like checking out artists would help you more because some of them show their process and put up time lapses and stuff like that to show their viewers how actually they get about it. So yeah, I would say that's a better option and that will help you more. Then Pinterest will definitely give you very good ideas because everyone just puts up tons of artwork, and I would like I would tell you like there are some commercials where they don't really need to like something very different. So I just end up on Pinterest, take out few ideas, make some changes, and yeah, I just give them that and they love it. So yeah, just
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your practice and your process?
so I generally I do more of graffiti when I am like I have more graffiti friends and we all like end up doing more graffiti than murals, or like if we are doing letters we end up doing some sometimes some characters and stuff, but mostly it's a commercial that I end up doing street the walls with brushes and stuff. Otherwise I'm more inclined to spray cans. But yeah, then you can't forget your roots, and you need to remember that this is where you started. So yeah, and apart from that, I I have a black book to practice all my graffiti, and I have like lots of not sketchbook, drawing books, where I just try out different things, put down different concepts, but they are not like finished products, but they are just like first draft kind of thing where I know where the idea is. Like, just that I don't forget about it, and whenever I get time, I just go to it and try to get it done.
If we have some doubts, can we DM you later?
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely do that. My Instagram handle is script1, KRYPT.ONE. So you can definitely go ahead and ping me, and yeah, I would be more than happy to help you out. This really didn't go well with this throwing the water and trying to show you guys. Yeah. So I'll just rectify this.
So Archana Tiwari is asking so on YouTube which brand of colors, which color brand I guess. Yep.
On YouTube.
Lex is asking what colors are you using actually?
Okay. So I'm using physical acrylic paints, and they are kind of readily available, and you will get them at any store nearby. So you can, yeah, give that a try. And they have been around for a long time, so just
So someone's asking you to fix that. You
yeah.
already did.
Huh?
Someone's asking you to fix that paint.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh, if I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, I think. Yes, I think we're done. So this is the last thing that I need to fix. Very good. Yes. So yes, I think I'm pretty much done it. Like, yeah, if I had more time, I would love to do a lot more things, but then I think we are running out of time. So I just I'll just talk about it. But yeah, so I'll just repeat the materials that I use for the whole thing. I hope this helps you. So I use Fevicryl acrylic paints, quite helpful and pretty good for indoors. And apart from that, I use some brushes, a dirty cloth, and yeah, just that and chalks, pencils, obviously. Get your so I'll just repeat the steps for you. It's basically you cleaning the ball before you start doing something on it. Then you sketching on. You need to sketch like a rough sketch with pencils or chalk, and then yeah, you can go ahead, start filling your colors, start filling the bigger areas. Then do some detailing, and then you can go ahead and outline, or you can just outline and then do the detailing. Totally depends on you, but uh, depends on what kind of detailing you're doing. And yes, so I hope this helps you. And if you have any doubt regarding anything, you can ping me on my Instagram. It's crypt1, or you could yes, you could definitely do that and check out my work on Instagram. And yes. Uh, And yeah, thanks Fevicryl, for helping me out with this paint. And it was great to work with those. And yeah, thank you so much. It was a great session. I hope it helps you.